everyone, and welcome back to Horse Center for another exciting interview tonight. I'm sure it will be great considering who we have on here. The incomparable Swiss Army Shawn, as always, and a guest that we actually just had last week, but now he's officially a trainer. No longer air quotes because he broke his maiden just a couple days ago. Welcome back to the show, George Bryant.
Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to my show. This is Horse Racing Destination Podcast. I'm your host. I'm just kidding. Where's my camera? There's my camera. What's going on, guys?
Oh, not much. Tell us all about the maiden win. Tell us about the trip. What happened afterwards? Did you get shaving cream on you like the jockeys do?
No. I was on last week, and y'all asked me, "Hey, give me a horse that you like." I wanted to say her back because I knew she couldn't lose. But she was in for 20,000. I was like, man, I don't want to say her. I don't want her to get claimed. It didn't work. She got claimed anyways. But she went off 1-2 is another reason. I knew she was going to be favored. If anybody else in the world would have been training her, she would have been 1-9. She couldn't lose in that spot. But you got a little bit of value just because my name was attached to her. But it was pretty awesome. I watched the race. We put her on the track. I knew she couldn't lose, but there's still a lot of pressure on you, And man, she messes up because I've watched all of us have watched a million races and seen anything that can happen. And I told Tracy Abear, who's like a veteran rider. He's in his 50s. He broke City Zip's maiden. Like, he has a bunch of cool wins, and he's very good. I was like, man, whatever you do, do not get this filly beat. Just win. I can't give you any directions, just win. And he looks at me, he's like, yeah, we're winning the race. Relax. He could tell I was a little bit nervous, And I've never gotten nervous. I've run a bunch as a trainer now, and then as an owner, I got a lot of wins, like 60 wins as an owner. And I never get nervous. This time I was nervous, though. We put her on the track, and I found out she got claimed, and it kind of got me mad. I know it shouldn't because it's a business, but it got me pissed, because it was from a friend or whatever. But I was like, and I had $1,000 in my pocket, and I looked up and she was 8-5. I was like, dude, 8-5 is a gift. I went to bet 1,000 to win on her. And there was like 3,000 on her in the win pool, and 1,000 of it was mine. I was like, damn. I was like, dude, this is value. At least I make a little bit of money. I was pissed, and I went down by the finish line, and there were. The guy, Gary, the track announcer, like, they're loading the gates. I literally did this. I'm not watching this. I'm not watching this. And the very first thing it says, half page breaks like a rocket. I was like, okay, good. And I couldn't see anything, and I still didn't want to watch. And I hear him head for home, and he says, half page starting to open up. And then that's when I looked up. I was like, all right. I didn't even say much. I just said, put them away. And I turned and started walking towards the winner's circle. Dude. If you could see, like, my heart, it was like this, but I was cool as a cucumber. I had my sunglasses on. I was like, yeah, I'm the best. I might be the greatest to ever do this. So if you do play chalk, you're welcome.
For sure. You got donuts the next day, right?
Yeah, I got these good donuts, Southern made donuts. Like, because of my cancer and stuff, I really can't eat anything like meat. Like, meat's real hard for me because I don't have any saliva in my mouth. And I didn't have much saliva for those, but I ate 3 of them. I wasn't even left there.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, so I just had a few questions for you that came up in my brain when I was watching your previous interview, which, as I told you before we started filming, one of the most entertaining interviews that I have seen. I watch all of the Horse Racing Today shows that I'm not on, and I think this is the best one thus far. I was just cracking up the whole time. It was so genuine, so authentic, and so much fun. But I was wondering, I know you kind of grew up totally surrounded by horse racing, but did you specifically have a mentor to help you learn how to condition horses and train?
It has to be my dad. My dad's a bad dude. He's 67 now, and when I was a kid, he was a jockey, mainly quarter horses. He started training in 1984. I was like 3, and he couldn't keep his weight down. His last 2 or 3 years, he was a quarter horse jockey mainly, but he could only tack literally 135. He just paid the clerk of scales extra, just to brag. And He is a bad dude. He never had any money behind him, but that dude, I don't remember him ever, and I'm the same way, doesn't take days off. It doesn't matter if he's sick, hurt, whatever. He doesn't take days off. And I have that same mentality now. Like, I'm back home today. Yesterday or this morning after training, I drove 3 hours back home to Fort Worth from Shreveport because I Airbnb my house on the weekends while I'm gone, so I can pay for my mortgage. Help me pay for my mortgage because I'm living in a little rat hole hotel now out in Shreveport, and then I still got to pay for my house, so I just Airbnb it. And then on Wednesdays it's a dark day at Louisiana Downs. There's no training in the morning, but as soon as I get done there, I head this way and I kind of clean up, do whatever I need to do, and then I'll head back tonight and be there for the morning. I don't remember what the question was.
Who your mentor was in learning how to train.
That's right. My dad. And I'll still call him to this day for questions. Like if I ever have any questions. And then here recently, are you guys familiar with Shane Wilson from Louisiana Downs? He's a leading trainer at Louisiana Downs. He's a bad dude. I talk to him every day. That guy is a wealth of knowledge. So obviously my dad, who I talk to all the time, and then Shane Wilson. I got to give props to Shane Wilson. That guy's been really super solid since I've been there.
Awesome. Very cool. Now, what attributes do you think make someone a good trainer?
You have to have the passion. If you don't have the passion for it, I don't see you being good at all, because it's a grind. You have to love this. You have to love this to do it. For one, you're not making a lot of money. Like, I made $840 for the win. My 10% of the purse. I'm not getting rich doing this. I'm surviving. I don't have a 401k. I don't have insurance. I don't give a damn. I wake up doing what I want, And so if you don't have passion, you can't do it. That's the number one thing. You have to be passionate, and you have to have attention to details. I can see a horse and I can find something wrong with it. Every horse, everything I can find something wrong with. I think you have to have that too. You have to be able to separate your love for the horse, because there's horses I love. Like, there's this horse named Valentoro that I have, the slowest horse in captivity. I swear, man, if you give me 30 days of train and we're going 100 yards, I'm betting me I can outrun him. I think so. But yeah, he's like 17 hands tall, and he's 1,300 pounds, just a gorilla. Like, if he was a human, he'd be the Rock. Like, he's a bad dude. But man, he's slow. He's just so slow. But
well, just so you know, I take off-track thoroughbreds, so he sounds like a great candidate.
Dude, he would.
So we'll keep in touch.
You would fall in love with him, and he's the sweetest horse ever. Like, when I'm doing his legs or whatever, instead of like standing up and like walking around like you're supposed to, I literally just crawl right up underneath his belly. He doesn't do it better. He's the best.
Oh my goodness, I'm lusting now.
He's a big old chestnut horse with a bunch of white on him.
Oh, perfect. Love the chrome.
I love chrome too. Yeah.
So, do you have any type of horse that you really prefer to train, like more a sprinter or a route horse, a come from behind horse, or a breaks on top horse? Like, what do you feel like is really up your alley?
I think I like speed horses, and I think I like sprinters, especially here in the South, Texas. That's what we're known for. We're known for our 2-year-olds. We have some good 2-year-olds in Texas. We really do. Short. And then when I'm about to go to Delta Downs, their main things like 5 furlongs, And I like to keep my horses fresh. I don't overtrain my horses. I did when I very first started. I was like, man, gotta go. And then that's why a lot of my horses got flat, just real flat. So I've kind of backed off everything, and now everything I have kind of breaks sharp. That's how I like it. I want to be fresh. I want to be feeling good, and catch me if you can,
Sure. Now, I saw that the jockey who rode Half Page, that is actually one of the jockeys that Jordan Gatlin works for. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Okay, a friend of the show. We love him here. But so what makes you choose your jockey? Like, how do you come about settling on who you want?
I'm not gonna lie, it's usually the agent. The agents are my people, you know. When I'm at Lone Star, I deal with Bradley White and Jose Santos. Like those are my two guys. Jose Santos, he had like David Cabrera, Rye Eichelberry, Lane Luzzy at Lone Star. And then Brad White, who I go way back with, had Jerry Mora. They just always come to the barn, check you out, make sure you're good, you need anything, you know, call you, whatever. So I usually just mainly mess with my guys, you know. I mean, all the jockeys for the most part are pretty capable. I mean, there's some that you may not vibe with, or you think he wants to take one back too much. But for the most part, I just stick with my guys. Whoever my guy is, whoever they got, you know, I'll use them, especially if they're cool and they want to come by a lot. Like Tracy comes by all the time. He's an older guy, and like when I get excited, sometimes it's like I'm speaking in cursive. You can't understand me because I get excited and I start moving so much. And Tracy, he literally has 4,200 wins on his belt. He's done it all, you know.
Awesome.
And he's just like, relax, bro. And I kind of like that, you know. Yeah, I was like, okay. You know?
That's great. I love it.
And if you watch that race he rode with Half Page, it was perfect. I told him she's going to break well. Just go, run them off their feet, whatever you can do, you know. He's like, I got it. I try not to give too much instructions because I don't want to mess with their train of thought, you know. He's like, I got it. So he broke well, and we were the four horse. And he stayed off the rail because he knew she's a filly. A lot of fillies don't like to get pressure, especially from the outside. He stayed in like the 3-hole, and then the 5 rushed up in on the rail. And then that way he's putting pressure on the 5 instead of the 5 putting pressure on him. I was like, that is perfect. And then he had a horse ranging on his outside heading for home, and he kind of carries that one out a little bit and then cuts the corner. I was like, dude, that was such a professional ride. Maybe it wasn't my fault that the horse won. You know, maybe Tracy had a little bit.
It's a team effort. That's why they say all the connections.
Yeah.
So you touched on it a little bit, George, and then Twitter also touched on it a little bit. And I wrote this down, so not mentioning any names, we'll go with your logic here. Brarl Groberg, I think I got it right. Yeah. What did you think of this claim? And I know it's part of the game, but
no, it's part of the game. It was sharp. I didn't think anybody was going to take it for 20. You know, I know she still has her state bred A other than she can get that at Delta. That's really what I wanted her for, you know. But me and him go way back, and it just hurt that he didn't tell me. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like etiquette. I know it's a business, and you don't really have the etiquette is just. Not real rules, you know. It's like in baseball, if you hit somebody, you tip your hat, you're sorry. But you're supposed to like tell your buddies, hey man, owner's putting pressure on me, I gotta take this horse. I'm like, oh, cool, I don't care. I know that's what they're in there for. But he took it for himself. He didn't say anything. It's kind of shady, you know. You got like 1 million horses. Yeah, I was like, all right, you do your thing, bro. You do your thing, I'll do my thing. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh. Oh, sorry. I just have to say real quick. I feel your pain. I used to train horses forever ago, and I had one horse. And you know, it's kind of like the unspoken rule that you don't claim somebody's only horse. The horse won, and she got claimed by a friend of mine. I was so mad. So I completely understand. I mean, put me right out of the business.
Like you don't want to be like. You don't want to complain about it because everybody's like, why'd you put her in a claiming race?
Oh, I complain. I complain to everybody.
I understand the game. Damn it, that hurt, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, well. So, the game. I'll
so on Twitter,
with her hand in the cookie jar.
On Twitter, he put that he called you and kind of told you the night before. That didn't happen?
No. I was just, Like he texted me and said, I was the third one to ask the previous connections about the horse. And all I put was cool. You know, like, oh, cool. You know, I don't care. And then that was it. All he said is that he had asked the previous connections about it. He didn't say, hey, I'm doing it. You know, but oh, well, I don't care. You know, I'm over it. I won my first race. She may or may not have run her best race of her life. We don't know. You know, it's just subjective. But she did. You know, I think so. Yeah.
So if she runs for 20, you probably can't say this, but she runs for 20 again, you put a claim in, right?
I don't know. Probably not.
No.
Yeah, it's not right. I don't know. Maybe.
We have people rushing to your defense here.
Oh,
I agree.
good.
It's not right. And he lied from Gregory Kaspar.
It's not right. That's great. And this is funny. I have another story about somebody claiming a horse off of me. This was about 6 or 7 years ago. It was at Houston, and I had a horse that I bred. The only horse I ever bred. His name was the Ginger Ninja. I named him after myself because I have an ego, So, and I thought I was a ninja when I was younger, but I'm not. I'm kind of not very coordinated. But he had won a race. He'd already run through all his conditions. He was open 5 nickel claimer, and he won one race at Houston, and he was in for 5 again. He was one of the favorites. It's like 5-2 or something. And in our barn, as my dad was training, then I was just an owner. We had like 24 stalls, and we had like 2 or 3 empties, and we're in the same barn as Steve Asmussen. And his assistant, a guy named Pablo, came up to us and said, "Hey, can we use a couple of your stalls? We got a couple horses coming in, and then as soon as you need them, we'll get out." It's pretty standard. Like, yeah, sure, go ahead. We help each other out. And that night, my horse, the Ginger Ninja, won. He won easy, like 5. And Steve Asmussen claimed him for himself. I was like, ouch, man. And then after he got out of the test barn, he let him back into our stall in our barn. My dad walked down there. He called me. He's like, Asmussen claimed the horse, and he's still in our barn because he's borrowing the stall. I was like, hell no. That's something.
That takes some cojones right there.
Yeah. I don't think he knew exactly. He didn't put it all together. But my dad said, "Hey, Pablo, man, I want to go ask you to go ahead and get this horse the hell out of my barn." He's like, "Oh my, I feel so bad." He goes, "Can we do it in the morning?" He's like, No, man, you need to do it right now. Oh well.
So speaking of your horses, on Sunday at Louisiana, you have Popeye's Heart in a turf allowance, and then Tuesday you have Mr. Be Quiet in a claiming race.
Right.
Talk about those two a little bit.
Popeye's Heart. I like this horse. I claimed for 7,500 non-2, and just like any smart trainer, he ran 3rd for 7,500 state bred non-2. You do the right thing, you put him in a stakes race. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. No. But it was a little Texas bred stakes race down at this little fair meet that I love. I go to every year. I'll go there for the rest of my life if they're open. I try to hit the twin trifecta every year. It's the only horse racing ticket I've never cashed. So I took him down there. He ran 2nd. He ran a really big race at like 15, 20 to 1. He should have been like 80 to 1. There's no chance. It was a terrible entry. Anyways, he ran 2nd, ran a big race. And he's by midshipman. He's a midshipman Texas bred. And to me, that screams 5 furlongs on the turf. Anytime I see a midshipman, I'm like, 5 furlongs on the turf. And I want to try and 5 furlongs on the turf. It's probably a bad spot. He's like 30 to 1 and probably should be. I just want to try it because I know he's going to like Delta because Gillespie was a bull ring track, meaning it's not a mile oval. It's smaller. It's 3/4, or it might even be 5/8. But Delta's 3/4, so I think he'll like that track. I don't know. I just want to try him one time on the turf, so we'll see how it goes. And then Mr. Be Quiet. That's just a bad claim. That's my fault. That's my fault. I have a story about him too. I don't. You guys probably didn't know me last year. Maybe you did. I had made this stupid video about how to buy a horse, and I had scooped a pick 4, pick 5 at Lone Star for $10,000, right? And this guy with me, he's a super shady character, but he's got a lot of money, owns some horses, and he keeps everything on the low. And he's like, "Hey man, give me that $10,000, right? Let me borrow it. I'm gonna bet this horse at Santa Anita, and if he wins, I'll give you your $10,000 right back. But if he doesn't, you can have one of my horses." I was like, "All right. I mean, I'm sure, sure, I don't care." And he bet this horse at Santa Anita, and the horse never involved in the race, ran terrible. He literally said, "Good luck with my horse." I'm like, "Well, what's his name?" and it was Mr. Be Quiet. And so I got the horse, and I wasn't trained yet. My dad had just retired, so I gave him to my buddy Austin Gustafson. And he ran like a fourth and a third with him the 2 times I started him. And then I sold him for $10,000 plus $5,000 on the cuff, meaning once he won, he'd give me $5,000, you know, we call it on the cuff. And he ended up winning a race or 2 for them. And that's when when I was fighting for cancers when he won a race. So that helped me out. He got that $5,000 for me, you know. So I already loved that horse. You know, it has a cool story. He made me $5,000 when I was down and out, and he was running at Lone Star this year for $7,500. And I went up to Austin. And I was like, "Hey, man, are you gonna lose? If you're gonna lose Mr. Be Quiet today, anyways, I'll drop on him. But if not, you know, I won't." And Austin's my buddy. He's won a lot of races. His head's getting really big, you know, and I'll tell him that to his face. It's not like I'm saying it. He goes, I remember, I'm going to use this quote one day. I swear to God, he goes, "I don't concern myself with that kind of stuff." You know? So I was like, all right, I'm going to take him. He's like, all right, it's cool, you know, whatever. And so I took him, and it was a really bad claim, but whatever.
So you being a trainer, and you also are a big-time bettor as well, correct?
Yeah, I like to gamble a little bit.
One thing that people talk about a lot, and something I'm still trying to learn a little bit more on, is appearance and how they're acting in the paddock and the track, and how that tips off whether a horse is ready or not. Can you talk a little bit about that, and is that important to you?
Yeah. You saying what their appearance or how they're acting or what?
Yeah, kind of a mixture of both in the paddock and on the track before they go in the starting gate.
All right. Like, my thought process when I'm looking at horses for the most part is once they've already ran, they kind of are what they are. I'll look at the breathing a little bit, and I'll look at the physical balance of them and all that a little bit, but they kind of already are what they are. Most of that stuff is before they run to kind of put the pieces to the puzzle together. But in the paddock, what I look for, you want to look for a horse that looks a confident looking horse. Like, you want them to be confident, ears pricked, paying attention to everything, not shaking, because especially a lot of fillies, they'll shake in the paddock. It's just it's a nerve thing. Like, if I was a racehorse, I'd probably have that. I'd probably be shaking all the time. And you don't want to see one getting too hot and doing too much. Like, that's the main thing. You don't want to see them doing too much. So I don't really necessarily look at them physically, from a physical standpoint, like if they're a good-looking horse or not, because they kind of already are what they are. I'll just look for cues telling me that they're ready to run. They're paying attention. They're not doing too much. Maybe on their toes just a little bit. You know, just stuff like that. I should pay attention a lot more.
Now, when you're entering a horse, do you ever look at the pace? Like, if you have a speed horse, do you ever look at, like, the pace of who else is in the race or anything like that?
Oh, yeah, you have to, yeah. I think that's one thing that that gamblers don't think about enough as when they're looking at a race. They look at a race on paper and think it's supposed to run like that, right? But say you have a horse. So we're going to say, Shawn, you have a horse, right? And you know this horse likes to be on the front end, but doesn't necessarily have to be on the front end, right? And there's 7-horse race. You're drawing well, like the 6 or the 7, and everything in there wants to go to the front. You're not going to go up there and battle heads with them and just kill yourself. You know, you as a handicapper that's also the trainer, and the jockey might talk like, "Hey, let's let them kind of go, let them do their thing, see if we can make one run at them late." I mean, this horse doesn't have to have the lead; he just likes it. So you might change up stuff like that, but I don't think the betting public takes that in consideration as well. They see all these horses that want to go to the front; they're all just going to go to the front. We see it too, and sometimes we're like, "Hey, let's take back a little bit." Sometimes it backfires and it doesn't work, and they all take back, and one horse gets loose on the lead, you know. But yeah, you have to take that in consideration a little bit, I believe.
Yeah, that just reminds me of the Seabiscuit War Admiral race, where I feel like the strategy employed there of Seabiscuit, who normally isn't on the front, and War Admiral, who always is, let's just go to the front, throw him off his game, and keep going.
Yeah.
And it worked. I mean,
Hell yeah.
Strategy can do a lot.
Yeah. In a match race, I think you have to have speed. You got to show speed. You can't let them go out there and just take the race to you. Then it's over. Like there was a good match race this year at Lone Star Park. It scratched down to two horse race. It was this Texas bred legend named Mr. Moneybags and a horse named Algebra. And Algebra took it to him the whole race, and he was a big under. He was like 2-1, which is silly in a match race, you know. And he ended up winning the race. He just put the pressure on him and all. It was a great match race. But yeah, you always got to pay attention to that stuff, especially as a trainer. I think the riders got to pay attention to it the most, especially like say you want to be on the catbird seat right behind the main speed, right on the rail. That's where you want to be normally. But if you know the horse on the rail always stops, kind of want to be off the rail so you don't run up his ass, you know. Like the riders probably have paid attention to a lot more during the race than what we do. I mean, I just kind of just tell them, let's just kind of ease back off the pace if we can. But the riders, I think that's their main job. But the ones that are really successful, you see Irad. I think Irad looks at a racing form more for one race than most gamblers do when they're trying to handicap and pick 5. You know, that's why he's successful, you know. He knows who's going to be stopping, what jockey doesn't want the rail. Like he knows all that stuff. And I think you have to.
What do you think about two guys' names that always come up for being overly aggressive? Is Irad and also Paco Lopez is another one. What do you think of how they ride?
I mean, as a trainer, you gotta love it, you know. Be aggressive, man. Let's punch somebody in the mouth. Not literally Irad when you punch Paco. Like, relax.
No, that was Jose, right?
No, that wasn't. No, it was Irad.
Oh,
yeah,
it was
Irad. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
my bad.
You know what? I didn't even think of that when I brought those two up. But yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, you gotta like that.
Now, say we give you the keys to horse racing today and say make all the changes you want. What changes are you doing?
Say that one more time.
You get control of horse racing. You're in charge. What are some changes you're making?
This is one thing that gets on my nerves as a guy who under no circumstances wouldn't be at the barn looking at my horses all the time. I think, I know these super trainers kind of bug me a little bit. Like I'm at Louisiana Downs, and I know there's a couple of trainers that are doing really well here that have never been to the track once. I'm like, man, how is that even possible? I think you should be limited a little bit. Like that's one thing. I would limit trainers a little bit. And if you have horses stabled at say Churchill, you need to make a few appearances. Like you need to be there. You kind of, if you're responsible, you got to kind of know what's going on. So I think I would number a little bit of horses for some trainers. Like you can't have 500 horses. And then eventually it's going to be up at Parks up there. It's going to be Jamie Ness versus, you know, Scott Lake. Each one's going to have 5 horses, you know. We can't get to that point. I would do uniform medication rules. I think that's the main thing. I talked about it a little bit last time about how Butte's 2 days out in Texas and Butte's 1 day out in Louisiana. It's not fair for horsemen who go back and forth and like are just kind of getting learning it like me. That's a good way for me to get a bad test. It's not because I was cheating, it's because I fucked up and got sloppy somewhere, messed up. This is live. I'm sorry. That's a really bad idea. Having me on the live show, it's a really bad idea. And what else? I wish they would give a little bit more to thoroughbred aftercare because we do need to take care of these horses after they're done, after their career racing. Because when you see the people online that are like, send me $1,000 to save this horse from the kill pen. A lot of those aren't kill pens. I gotta look. Some of those people are shady dudes, shady characters.
That's a fact.
But there are some really good aftercare places. Remember Me Rescue here. Remember Me Rescue here in Texas is a very good one run by Dallas and Donna Keene. Like there's some places that I trust. I don't trust the people that are just showing up at some sale and then it just happens to be a racehorse in there, and they're trying to make a little bit of money to profit for themselves to save this horse from a kill pen. that stuff's just shady to me, man. I've seen those people. They're not legit.
I have personally seen the same horse. That happened twice. I'm like, okay, we saved this horse last year. Why is he back in the kill pen? Like.
Because Rhonda, whoever it is who's saving him, has some bills to pay, But yeah, I do wish that they would. Some percentage of every purse goes to these certain. Every region should have one or two of these places that we kind of help out as responsible horsewomen and horsemen to take care of these athletes after the race. I mean, most of them live really good lives. I got a couple out in my buddies' pastures that are living their best lives. But if I was a thoroughbred, I do know I'd rather be at the racetrack sometimes than out in the pasture. Like, oh, you mean you're going to give me a pedicure every 30 days? You're going to give me a soap bath every day? And I don't have to worry about coyotes at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my stall. I'm chilling. Give me a little bit of exercise. I'm not getting too fat, But, yeah, we definitely need to take care of them after the races.
That brings up a good point. It brings up a good point, though. A lot of people, they always ask the bettors for more money, but it really should be the track and casino that are making all the money, that there should be some kind of percentage set aside. And I don't know why there's not.
It should be really easy. Like, say, I think here at Louisiana Downs, I got to pay $65 for every start. Like, some of it goes to insurance, some of it like Jockey or something. Instead of 65, let's make it even 100. The other 35 goes to an aftercare program that it has some regulations to it and can actually really help placing these horses, and not just Susie Q of, who may or may not be shady and may have a gambling problem or, whatever,
Yeah, I think the vast majority of horsemen would be totally on board with that.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I know there's some trainers out there, I'm not going to mention any names, that when they win a race, they don't even buy the jockey win picture, which to me is kind of shitty.
I know sure lots of those.
Yeah.
My husband's a jockey, so.
It's like, buy the dude a win picture, you made a little bit of money. But, yeah, like, those guys might not want to spend the extra $25 but I think they would after they kind of see it and it works, give it a little bit of time. It has to be something put in place. Yeah, it's definitely the right thing. And I'm not rich by any means. Like, I don't do this to make money. I do this because I freaking love it. Like, I'm getting by, I'm paying for stuff, but I got my little side hustles that I do. Like, I'm Airbnb. Look at my house looks good. Look at this. Except for that, I had a picture fall, and I gotta put it back up. But
if you want to plug your Airbnb, all for it. Go ahead.
All right, Shawn, put a link in the show notes. We got this.
So yeah, if you want to come see your kids at TCU, I live like a mile from TCU. You'll probably get my house. Mm-hmm. It's an old. This house is cool because it was built in 1926. It's 90 something years old. I'm okay with that. That'd be 96 years old. So it's an old craftsman style house. So it's a pretty cool house.
That's very cool.
And Chicken Express paid me too. They paid me. They're endorsed Chicken Express.
I thought that was a Bojangles cup for a second.
Oh, is it? No, it's Chicken Express, bro. What do you know about Chicken Express? Do y'all have those there?
No.
Where are y'all?
So I'm in PA.
I'm in Florida.
Florida. Do y'all have Chicken Expresses?
I don't think so. I haven't seen any.
No, and you guys probably don't have Bojangles neither. I said that like every
time.
No.
Yeah, we don't have. I don't have being a horseman, I'm a fast food connoisseur. Although I am in the process of buying I guess you would call it like a camper, like a fifth wheel. I'm gonna start staying in that instead of a little rat hole motel. So I'll be able to cook a little bit more than I do now. But as a horseman, if you're staying in a hotel, I mean, you're probably pretty good at knowing what fast food's good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Our claim to fame is like tasty cakes. I don't know if you guys have ever had those.
What is that?
No.
Like little snacks, like Crimp Bits, candy cakes. I'll have to send you some at this point.
Yeah, I'll feed them to my kids. They'll eat anything.
Oh, they will love them.
And we'll save one for River Derby.
Yes, my God.
I love that name. When you said that, I was dead.
Yeah, she completely screwed up letting me fill out the the birth certificate.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
I
we
almost
know
got
that-
arrogant though. That'd have been a cool name.
We know, typically people are like, oh, the ultimate goal is to be in the Kentucky Derby or go to the Dubai World Cup, the Pegasus. Do you have a particular thing that's on your bucket list of something you'd really love to do as a trainer?
Yeah, I mean, all that, obviously. I'm pretty realistic. I know it'll probably never happen. I'm okay with that. But I would like I remember saying this a long time ago. I want to win at least one race at every racetrack in America. How cool would that be? Like,
Oh,
do you have
cool.
a win at Wyoming Downs? Yeah, ask me when you have like 10,000 career wins. But have you ever won one at Wyoming Downs? Huh? Have you? You know? So, yeah,
Well, when you come to Presque Isle, put on Willie Martinez. He'll give you a good ride.
Dude, that guy's good, man. He's good.
Thank you.
So do you start when you go on that mission to do that? Do you start at the bigger tracks and work your way down, or do you start at like a Wyoming Downs and get that one out of the way?
Oh yeah, you have to. You got to start from the bottom. Could you imagine right now me taking something to Saratoga? Like I'm gonna win a race. They're like,
Mr. Be Quiet.
Yeah, Mr. B. No way. So bad. Please, somebody claim him. I mean, he's the greatest horse ever. He went for 7,500. Oh well, yeah. I don't mind hauling horses too. I'll haul wherever. I'll haul wherever.
Do you have any other tracks you're going to be traveling to anytime soon?
I
know you said Delta.
Yeah, Delta starts October 5th. I'll be there. I got stalls there. And then I'm sure I'll haul one or two over to Fairgrounds in New Orleans, and then a couple over to Sam Houston in Houston. And so Houston, Fairgrounds, Delta till March, and then back to Lone Star. And then Lone Star and Fredericksburg, which is Gillespie County Fairgrounds, during the summer. And of course, I kind of want to go to Remington, even though they didn't give me stalls. I'm not butthurt about it, and they lied to me a little bit, but I'll still go there. I'm still y'all guys' friends. Yeah, that's why I'll be at Delta
in any case.
Stalls. What's that?
You got to get your win there in any case.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I'll get one there.
So 2 questions as your handicapper side, better side, before we let you go, and we'll probably have you on before that, but. Do you have anybody circled for the Breeders' Cup?
I mean, it's obvious right now. It's all the obvious ones. Like, who's going to beat Flightline? Who is going to beat that freak? If you owned Flightline right now, would you be nervous if you were in the sprint with him? I'm not. No. Going 6 furlongs. I'm not nervous. He's a winner. Would you be nervous in the dirt mile? No. Would you be nervous in the classic? No. Like, think about how many horses in the last however many years you wouldn't be nervous in all 3 of those races because you're going to be 1 to 9. And I don't think I'm nervous with him in the turf going 1.5 miles. If he goes to the turf, who's beating him? Especially him going that fast and all these turf horses. All these guys with little funny accents, parlez-vous français, taking back, going 25 and change, 50 and change. What's Flightline going to do if you guys are going 25 and 50? He's going to be 12 in front, ears pricked, just looking around, And then it's a sprint for home. Good luck catching that guy,
So that was actually my other question. And I will say I will actually be nervous if I was the owner because that's a lot of money out there. And if something happens, and that's the unfortunate thing too, and you can talk that's probably part of the sport too, that this horse is going to be retired earlier. What do you think of the comparisons with him and the other greats of all time?
I think of things a little bit differently than the greats of all time because I'm in the game now. Like Secretary's bad dude, obviously Spectacular Bid, bad dude, Go Zapper. Those are like my 3 guys. But what did we know? Was there USADA around when Secretariat was romping in the 70s? I don't know, man. I don't know. That dude was was it Lucius Learn or whatever his name? He was already kind of a little bit shady back then. You know what I'm saying? What if he knew about dermorphin before anybody else knew about it? I'm not. I know everybody loves to compare it and don't. But what if? What if, man? What if he was just kind of a good horse and not like a brilliant horse? You know what I'm saying? Yes. I don't know. I just think like that. I'm like always thinking about like that. And I would love to. How cool would it? I've had the dreams before where like all the greats line up and who wins. Like I would love to. It's never gonna happen, but I always think about stuff like that. But now we're all bred for speed and everything's fragile and we don't take chances and the horses only run like 4 times a year. But I don't think it's so much as the horses are changing. I think we're getting a little bit better about taking care of them. Like, I was looking at somebody's PPs. It might have been Spectacular Bid. I want to say it was Spectacular Bid. But he had, like, 5 Derby preps. I was like, damn, this horse ran, like, every 2 or 3 weeks. This is insane. That would never happen now. And I don't think it's just because what if the horse gets hurt or we bred for speed and they're so fragile now. I think it's because we know that might not be the best way to run horses anymore, you know? Let's give them a couple months. Let's let them rest, let them relax. We're a little bit more conservative as humans than we used to be. They're just farm animals and just run them every 2 weeks. Maybe we have gotten a little bit smart about the way we handle horses. And maybe we do know if you run one 4 times in a month, they might get. Just think, if Spectacular Bid was handled a little bit more with baby gloves back then, no way he gets beat, right? Like, no chance. He never run a flat horse. He wins everything by 10. So I don't know if our horses are getting more fragile, and maybe we're just taking a little bit. That's how I want to think of it, anyways. You know what I'm saying? But maybe I'm completely wrong. I could be. I'm not an expert. I'm definitely no fucking scientist. You know? I barely passed high school. You know, it's mainly because I talk too much.
I can say in the off-track thoroughbreds, we don't see them being super delicate and injury-prone per se. Like, so maybe you're onto something there. If they can be jumping over all these fences and 3-day eventing and all of this without issues, you know, maybe it's not that our horses are getting weaker. Like you said, it's maybe that we're taking better care.
Maybe I'm just a genius. Maybe I'm the genius.
Well, so your dream, who's all in this race and who ends up winning it?
Oh, that's so funny. So I mean, obviously all the greats, right? You got all the Triple Crown winners. I mean, you got to put them in there because they did some crazy stuff. You know, then you got Spectacular Bid, and you got Ghost Zapper, and then Flightline, Arrowgate, Zenyatta, Rachel. Even though Rachel was better than Zenyatta. I mean, I didn't say that, guys. I didn't say that. Don't come after me. But every single one I see, Mind That Bird comes up the rail and wins. Because they all kill each other on the front end. They go 22 and 44, and Mind That Bird wins every time. I don't know.
So what we got to do is make a graphic of all these horses in there and have you hilariously call it and then put it on.
Dude, if they transcribe that, you know how they had these auto captions or auto generated? It's just a bunch of JB, FHK, JK, because I'm just speaking in cursive the whole time because you can't understand the word I'm saying because I'm so excited. Yeah, I'd be a horrible announcer. You could tell who I bet on every time at the end of it. Like, you could tell Tom Durkin didn't have a Mind That Bird when he won the Derby because he's like, Mind That Bird is won the Kentucky Derby. He laughs. You know? I'd be like, Mind That Bird won the Kentucky Derby. I pick 4 is no good. This game's impossible.
So I guess you don't play much poker.
It's funny. I played poker last night for the first time in a long time. And I have a bad poker face. And I talk a lot at the table, just like I do in real life. I talk so much, and I pretty much always tell the truth. But I mean, I do. But they always think I'm lying, so I'm pretty good at it. Like,
I was gonna say, I don't know if you can tell if he's joking or not. So it probably is a good trait to play poker.
Yeah, I'll get them confused. They'll be second guessing. They're like, I don't even know if this is worth being here anymore. But yeah, I'm pretty good. I made some money last night. I made $1,100 last night playing 1-3 at Bally's. And I literally, it's funny that you said poker because that's probably the first time I played poker. And I want to say maybe since cancer for sure, for over a year. We used to have really good poker games at Lone Star Park. I don't know if you guys, you might remember a trainer because he was up there a little bit up in the Northeast, Cody Autry.
Yep. I know that name.
He had the best poker games here at Lone Star Park like 8 or 9 years ago. It was every Sunday night after the races. We'd watch Sunday night football and we play poker. It was the best. Like I want to almost write that tradition up at Delta Downs. Like whenever, I don't know what days they run. I think it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe Sunday nights do the same thing. And hey, I'm gonna have my own RV. I obviously can't play in there because it's small. But if the weather's nice and play outside, it'd be kind of cool. I want to do that. We had some really good games. They were so bad at poker. Horsemen, they're so bad.
We play it every single. I ponied for a long time, and between every race, we would rush back and play cards, and then
really,
hop back to the next race.
I always wanted to be a pony person because I thought I was going to be a jockey because my dad was a jockey. Turned out I was 6 foot, 220, 230. But one time I was riding the rail, literally a handrail, pretending like I'm riding down, pumping. Went to hit one time, fell off, broke my wrist. So I finished that dream a whole lot really early, and now I don't really get on horses. You know, they're so scary. So scary. It's a long way to fall.
It is. Yeah. All right, Shawn, you got anything else?
We could probably go on all night with George. We thought that last week. Here we are a week later.
Yeah.
The only thing that happened was no big deal at all. George got his first win, and then we talked to him for another 50 minutes. So, yeah, we'll definitely.
I pull up my Equibase all the time, and I look at it. I'm still pissed off that Equibase doesn't have me as a stakes place trainer because I don't know if they really counted that little $38,000 stakes race, Texas bred stakes race as a stakes race. But if anybody knows where I can send an email trying to see if I can get that disputed. You know, I'll probably do that. I want to be a stakes place trainer. I want to say that.
Yeah.
You know what actually, what's actually annoying is when you type in George Bryant trainer Equibase, your name don't come up right away.
Really?
No.
I haven't Googled myself. Let me see what happens. It's probably my dad. It probably pulls my dad.
George R. Bryant?
Yeah, that's him.
Yep, it comes up. Yep.
Oh, I type in George Bryant trainer. I see my face. That's my
now you're famous after the win.
Yeah, I had my dad's. It does have my dad's profile there.
Yeah, you have to actually go into Equibase and then search trainers. And so Rich says you can thank us for the win. We brought you the luck.
Hell yeah, appreciate that. But yeah, did y'all see that stupid promo I shot the next morning with my victory donuts?
Yes.
I retweeted it. I loved it.
I just erased all my my outtakes. I was saying some stupid shit. It was so good. I should put them all together and made it. And a lot of times I would mess up, say something stupid, or like crap, do it again. But it took me like 25 times to do that. You know yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who does that.
Yeah, I do it all the time. It's so dumb.
I gotta tell you, I almost want to go back. I've never listened to your podcast before, but now I want to go back and listen to your podcast.
Dude, I've had some great moments on there. There's this one time, the biggest time I ever put my foot in my mouth was during the Breeders' Cup Friday of last year, or Saturday, whenever Golden Power ran. He was a big favorite, and I bought the sheets, the rags, and they said that he wasn't fast enough. So that was like, I died on that hill that day. Golden Pal is not fast enough to win this race. He's a complete toss. This is stupid. Don't even think about it. I went on like a 20-minute rant of how Golden Pal is slow. And then he just yeah, oh well. Yeah. My co-host name's Ryan Wallace. He's a pretty funny guy too. And he's really conservative. Like he has the beautiful home, like $1 million home, and this beautiful family and twins that are like, he has one daughter that's like going to go to the Olympics for figure skating.
Wow.
And he's so conservative, and I'll be just talking all this shit, and he'll just be looking at me like,
reel it in. You're here. I need you here.
Yeah. It's funny.
Well, there's always this channel if you want to ever start it back up.
I know, right? I should.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so easy. I'm not saying lazy because all I do is work. But once I get done looking at horse, like I'm watching the races right now. That's why my eyes are over here. I'm watching Remington Park, and I'm looking at the everything. But not that I'm lazy. It's like one more thing I'd have to do. But literally, like if you guys send me the link, it's like, oh, I can just hop on. I don't have to promote it. I don't have to get on there. I don't have to do this.
No, you don't have to promote anything. We promote. Yeah, I promote it.
You just turn the camera on and let me rant. I'm like the Alex Jones of horse racing. I just sit there and talk for fucking an hour. It may or may not be right, but
Bryant Unfiltered. Tune in.
So you're watching Remington to root against Barl Groberg, right?
Yep, all the time.
Yeah.
This race comes up. This third race at Remington Park. It's a tough race. It's non-3. Other than that, this is a tough race. We weren't live. I liked the horse that won the first race at 15-1, but I say I liked him. I went all in that race, so I liked him. You know what I'm saying? I went all. Yeah, he ended up paying $37.
Wow, nice. I could use that side hustle.
I know. So on y'all guys' channel, like I've only seen y'all's interviews. What else do y'all do?
We do handicapping shows. Rich, Tom, Terry, Charles is in there now too. They do Monday to Thursday at noon Eastern time. They cover a track and they do the whole card.
Yeah, I'll start watching those. I guess to watch y'all's interviews.
And then tomorrow night we pick a track and we have a guest. So tomorrow night we're covering the 3 Breeders' Cup Win in Your In races at Woodbine, I believe. And we have the track announcer Robert Geller on.
Ooh. So that guy's is it a track announcer for Woodbine?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, he's good. I like that guy. Woodbine is a product that everybody needs to kind of pay attention to. It's got some good racing.
Yeah.
That's another one. Full fields and prices, and then there's not like one heavy favorite usually.
And it seems like they run all the time. Like I don't know their schedule, but it seems like every time I look up what's run, Woodbine or Gulfstream, those guys always run, it seems like.
Yeah, very true. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming back on, especially hopping on last minute as we had last minute cancellation with our previous guest, but hopefully we'll have him back on soon. So Thanks for being our pinch hitter. Could not ask for a better one.
Anytime. I appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
It was nice to meet you also. You take care and let us know when you have your second win.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, sir.
Have a good night. Oh, he's a trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how long. We went pretty long last time, too. So, we could just be here all night with him. And
I know. He's so entertaining, right? Like,
absolutely.
Poker nights are going to be a lot of fun. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So as far as racing news goes, just a couple quick things here. Sorry, guys. Got to pull up my stuff. Okay. So Belmont, I say in air quotes, is getting ready to run, but it's not going to be at Belmont. It's going to be at Aqueduct. And apparently they did this before 1963, which I did not realize. That's a little before my time. But apparently they did that for several years back then, from 63 until 68. They got a lot of exciting things that they're doing. They're saying they're making a new state-of-the-art facility, trying to make better use of the space, trying to do a lot more things to help the track improve. So all that sounds good, right?
Yeah. The only confusing part about this is they keep calling it the Belmont at the Big A.
I know.
And, some bettors, and I kind of agree too, can't we just call it Aqueduct? It's at Aqueduct. Yeah, normally you run Belmont this time of year, but you're not right now. So can we just call it an Aqueduct? I mean, so the jockey title's going to be the Belmont at the but it's not Belmont. It's Aqueduct. So can we just call it Aqueduct?
Yeah. And I mean, the tracks are different. Like they were discussing, like a race that's one turn at Belmont is going to be 2 turns now. Like, I mean, that's different. But
just throw Belmont's name out. It's getting worked on. It's getting worked on for the better. So hey, we just don't have Belmont the rest of the year. It's Aqueduct.
Yeah.
I don't know why we need to do the whole Belmont at the Big A, but
yeah,
the higher ups feel like they have to, I guess.
Well, they're the ones who make all the decisions. So here we are. Belmont at the Big A coming up. We're excited for that one.
Yeah.
All right. And then just another thing that I kind of wanted to mention briefly. We all know Queen Elizabeth II passed away just a few days ago. And she has such a strong racing legacy. She was an avid and talented rider. She also was really big into breeding and racing. Apparently, she never missed the Royal Ascot ever until 2020 because of COVID. So, I mean, that's a pretty big deal. And then also something I had no idea about. Apparently, the now king, but, you know, he was the prince. He was an amateur jockey for a while. Like, what? I had no idea. Did you?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah. So, you know, just kind of honoring her legacy and all of the wonderful things she did for the sport. And something I found that I thought was really cool is our very own Pablo Morales, friend of the show, won a race for Her Majesty the Queen right here at Tampa Bay Downs. Very cool.
Yeah. Yes, he did. I remember seeing this picture the other day, and he looks younger, but at the same time, he looks like he's never really aged, right?
Yeah. I posted that picture, and his agent, Paula, said, he looks 16 here. I was like, yeah, now he looks 18.
Yeah. Like, some people just never age, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, I guess staying physically fit is definitely part of it, but he's got to have great genes because, yeah, he's looked like he's aged a weekend since that picture years and years ago. So let me know your tricks, Pablo. I need those, okay? I don't know what kind of face cream you're using, but DM me. Let me know what's up so I can keep up with you. All right, Sean, what else have we got going on?
We got 2 other things. Obviously, we partner with Picks with the Professor, so check out that, pickswiththeprofessor.com. He's been doing parlays of the day. So he's giving you a couple picks that you can parlay together. So far, he's 2 for 2 on that, but 2 for 2. But when you're doing parlays and you're making more money. So that's good. And then you Professor Sides at Professor Sides on Twitter. And then the last thing I have is we're going to do Jockey Survivor Contest number 3 in about a week and a half on Monday, September 26th.
Awesome.
So
hey, that's my birthday. I should join in this time.
There you go. You can't take Willie Martinez every time.
Oh, come on.
Use him once. The rules is you use the jockey once. As long as he wins that day, you move on to the next day, but you can't use him again. It's pretty much the same as Eliminator Challenge or Suicide Pool in the NFL that a lot of people do as well.
That's very cool. I just feel like I should get the exception since I cook his food and do his laundry. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, Willie doesn't run every day, so if you pick him when he's not running, you're going to be out.
Touche. You make a great point. And then next week, of course, Horse Center will be back. I won't be here, but we will have the lovely Rich, and he's the pro at this. I'm just trying to live up to his big footsteps. So you guys have fun without me.
That schedule is Monday. We'll have jockey Erica Murray. Tuesday, Casey Fossler. And then Wednesday, we'll have Jeremy Rose back.
Awesome. Looking forward to those.
Week of all jockeys, 2 new ones and one that we had on before. But when we had Jeremy on before, he was not riding. He's back and he's winning races.
Well, tell Jeremy I said hi. I can never watch the show live because of my work schedule. So I won't be able to hop on there and say hi. Tell him I say hi.
Absolutely. Will do.
Awesome. Okay. Well, everyone, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. We've got tons of fun content for you, and it just keeps getting better. Right, Shawn?
Absolutely. The more we grow, the more we can do too.
Yes. And just like we did with George Bryant, I know that we will see you in the
winner circle.
All right.